next topic that we have is running an efficient payroll. So running an efficient payroll means like what all things we can keep in our mind. So it will not be everything that we'll learn here because we know the important things, but an overview of running a efficient payroll, what we can do for UK payroll. Okay, so payroll is a necessary element of a business operation because without payroll, you cannot pay the employees who are working for the organization, right? So it is very important department, I would say. While processing payroll, organizations should find ways to make payroll more efficient and accurate by reducing stress, time involvement, and error. So we always keep on working on the improvements, how we can improve our process, payroll process, so that we make zero errors, right? So it is all about that only, like how do we make payroll more efficient and accurate. So an employer needs to complete certain tasks during each tax month, which starts from the 6th of the month, continues till 5th of the month. Why? Because our financial date starts from 6th to 5th April. So what happens? Some organization may follow that same pattern from 6th to 5th, like 6th April to 5th May, 6th May to 5th June. Okay, so what this point says that we have to start with the important activities as a year start activity also after the 6th, and also as monthly activities. Like I explained you, tax codes are very important. You cannot miss. This is one of the important point in UK payroll. Every month you have to download the tax code. So same thing you have to do at the start of the financial year also. So the tax code doesn't remain same every year. It can change. Like if the tax slab changes, tax code may also change. The default tax code is linked with the tax slabs. So the first activity that you do on after this year end, that is on 6th April, first thing is you update the tax code for all the employees correctly. Okay. So these are a few basic details that you have to follow so that you do not miss or pay employees incorrectly. Everything is calculated based on tax code, that the tax calculation is done on tax code. So inform Her Majesty and Revenue Customs if you have not paid any employees in a tax month. Like I explained you, if you have not paid any employees, this is also a compliance. Okay, that you have to inform HMRC that we are not going to pay anyone or we have not paid anyone. Okay, you cannot assume that HMRC will think, okay, we are not paying. That's the reason we have not sent the FPS. Okay, so you have to inform. These are some important compliance steps that you have to follow. Include the following steps in a payroll software every time you pay your employees. Okay, so these are a few steps that you can configure. So record salary, wages, and any other part, or sorry, any other pay of the employees. So updating the system. Okay, this is mainly linked with updating the system. That is, record employee salary correctly in the system so that we capture correct salary for payroll, right? Every month, if there's any change, we do not have something different in our software and something different on the payroll output report. It should match. That is one thing. Then wages, if you're paying any overtime or extra payment or allowances, it should be recorded properly. Mainly HR team does it, like all the allowances and salary changes in the system, but it should be updated and we should be able to check that. And any other pay of the employees, if there is anything other that relates to the payroll, like the tax code, NI numbers, NI code. Okay, all the details should be updated up correctly and maintained properly in the records of the employee. Determine deductions like tax and national insurance. Now, how you determine deductions? It is based on tax code. The tax is based on tax code. National insurance is also based on some code that we'll learn when we do a national insurance. Like NA, it is called NI category. Okay, so each employee has NI category. Okay, it will not be distinct. 80 to 90% will have same category as a general category, but there may be some employees who will have different categories depending on their situation. Okay, so these things are very important. Need to pay towards national insurance contribution on the earnings above pound 242 a week. It is actually 243, 242 a week. Okay, weekly rate. What happens? This is related to a slab. Okay, above this, if employee earns pound 242 a week, Only above that, employee will contribute to a national insurance. Below that, employee will not contribute to national insurance. Just a uh, thing that you'll learn more in detail later on. Okay, so produce payslip for each employees. This is also important. Pay and deductions should be reported to HMRC in a full payment submission. So these are important steps that we cannot miss to run an efficient payroll. In the next tax month, starting on the 6th. And now when we start the next tax month, what we have to follow? If there is any reduction, you can claim by 19th. Okay, that is 19th of next month. What is this? I'll explain. This is EPS. Any reduction you not need to claim, you can claim by 19th of next month, which is the deadline of EPS. That is the last point that you see, third point. But let me explain. 19th, why we do it? Because HMRC will take some time to reflect that in your system. Whatever amount that you have sent to HMRC on 19th, HMRC will read it and update in your account in 2 days. Because it is real time, so it is fast. And why 19th? Because 22nd is the last day to pay taxes to HMRC. So whatever you have sent to HMRC, for example, in October month, for example, your pay date was 25th. So on 25th, you submit the FPS stating that this much tax we have to pay you. So HMRC will make a note of it and then they will update in your online portal that, okay, this is the tax due. Now you have a deadline to pay this tax by 22nd November. Okay, October month taxation, you have 22nd of November, the last day to pay the taxation. If you pay online, okay, if you pay through post, that is check payment or any kind of draft, demand draft or tax submission, okay, this takes 2 or 3 days. So for that you have to submit pay by 19th. Okay, if you pay online, that is direct payment, then you have to pay by 22nd, that is the last day. That is the reason 19th is the last day. If you submit by 19th, okay, so HMRC will take 2 days, 20 and 21. So 21, you'll get that amount also updated. So you can pay only the net amount. Okay, that is the maximum date that HMRC says. You can submit before also, 12th also, 10th also, if you want to. If you don't want to wait till the end of the time of because you'll have just 1 day to pay the taxes. So it's better you submit early. Okay. So for example, this is the pay date. We'll take 25th October as pay date. Okay. Now what you'll do, you'll also submit FPS by this date. This is the deadline. Okay. Now HMRC receives it. Okay. And HMRC has a deadline, okay, to update online portal. That is, they will review everything and they will update in your portal. That is the employer portal, that this amount has been validated. What has been validated? Tax amounts, NIC amounts, whatever we need to pay. So HMRC will update this on employer portal also after validations. Okay. So by when? They have a deadline to update by 12th of next month. Okay. If you submit on time, okay, this is because you're submitting very early. That is in the same month of October. If you submit after this month, okay, that is after 25th October, you've missed it in October. Now you're submitting in November. For example, you're submitting the FPS on 6th November. Okay. It's still HMRC will do it on 12th November because it is before 12th. But in case you have missed this deadline also and you are sending by 11th. Okay, 11th November is only 1 day, but HMRC needs minimum 2 days. So this deadline will be missed. Now HMRC will give you the report on after 2 days, maybe 13th. Okay, if you submit later on after 11th or 11th, HMRC will take 2 days. If you submit on 14th November, then HMRC will take 2 days, 16th November. This is the 2 days I was talking about. Okay, so HMRC will need 2 days to update the details in return. Okay, you will send first FPS. So HMRC comes to know, okay, this employer needs to pay me this much tax and NIC. So they approve the amount. Okay, this is fine. This is correct amount. Now let's update in the portal. Okay, that is the HMRC online portal, so that you get a button. Okay, to pay the taxes. Later on, you can see the amount as well, and you will get the button also activated to pay the taxes and NICs. And that happens by 12th. If you submit everything on time, if you submit late, then at least 2 days HMRC will need. Okay, so this is something you've sent. Now, for example, FPS is sent by 16 November. You receive the online the amount in HMRC online portal. Now you're submitting EPS. Okay, if you're submitting EPS on 19th November, okay, again for this also HMRC will need 2 days. So 21st by 21st November, HMRC can update your portal. Okay, with this amount. So here you need to pay and here you need to recover amount. So net impact will be whatever is the amount. You need to pay this remaining amount, right? Now, how much day you have? You have 1 day only because 22nd is the last day to pay the amount. Okay, that is the reason 19th is the last day, so that at least 2 days is taken by HMRC and you can pay the amount by last day. 1 or 2 day you get to pay the amount. Okay, if this give you 20 or 21st, then you'll miss the deadline also. Maybe you'll not be able to claim EPS, but you'll be able to pay FPS at least. So EPS you can claim next month, then it will be late. So it's better you submit early and you get the benefit in the same month, the taxes. Understood? Always remember minimum 2 days HMRC will take to update. Okay, so here same thing has been explained. Okay, so next point, if you see second point, balance in HMRC account can be viewed within 2 days. So balance means the amount. So balance means whatever you need to pay now after reduction, after EPS reduction, the balance that you need to pay to HMRC will be updated in 2 days again. Okay. The last day of paying HMRC is 22nd. Okay. It is not mentioned. That is, it is mentioned like the next month. Okay, 22nd of next month is the last date. And 19th, if you're paying by post of that month. Okay, so if you submit a check or some demand draft for payment through post, okay, then it will be submitted on 19th. 19th will be the last day, so that HMRC gets the payment in 2 or 3 days by 22nd. That's the reason they did the 19th as last day. Okay, now employees pay. Record your employee's salary or wages as well as all other types of pay in your payroll software. Okay, this is again very important to run an accurate payroll. The other types of pay are statutory pay, expenses and benefits, tips and other pay. Okay. So again, if you want to make it more accurate, so record expenses and benefits also in payroll. Now, some companies pay out of payroll, like it is recorded by finance and they submit this report at the end of the year to payroll department to submit it to HMRC. So if you want to avoid that late minute end of the year activity, you can include the expenses and benefits in the every month payroll itself. So expenses and benefits means the claims that employees raise, the reimbursements that they get for the travel expense, for example, or if they get some car benefit, car lease. Okay, so these kind of expenses and benefits, if possible, configure in the payroll itself. Okay, statutory pay, like maternity and everything, it should be recorded on time so that employees who are on statutory leave, maternity, paternity, because they are dependent on these amounts. So they are not suffering because they are not working. They cannot know the status. Some employees, some companies revoke the portal access, that is the ESS access. So they cannot even see the payslip on ESS portal. So it is better so that they depend on us if we pay them on 25th or not, if the pay date is 25th. So if they do not receive it and they have some commitments, that will be a problem. So statutory pay should be paid properly and on time. HR should also submit the details on time to us so that we can pay employees. Then tips and other payment. If there are any kind of tips or additional payment that employees get from customers, like in a restaurant or a hotel industry or any kind of service-based industry, some tips are paid, right? In a uh, now you must have seen that in restaurants at times waiters collect tips in online machine only. They ask, do you want to pay any tip, right? So
Yeah.
online it goes into the restaurant account. So what restaurant will do? Restaurant will add that tip to that employee's account, that this needs to be paid into employee's salary. Okay,
Oh.
this kind of procedures, if we can include for employees, that will
Mm,
be a better. So employee doesn't need to do additional filing later on. If they collect cash, then it could be that employee is not paying taxes later on, or that could be some kind of we can call black money or something. So it is better if it is paid online and recorded in payroll, and employee pays taxes on those tips also. So these are
mm,
few things that we can consider. Okay. Calculating deductions accurately. Okay, so what kind of deductions you'll see in UK? One is tax and national insurance, which is for everyone. Okay, but depends on the salary. If a salary is very less, so they do not come into the slab, so they will not pay tax and NI. Okay, so we'll see that calculation. Apart from that, there are some other important deductions as well. One is student and postgraduate loan payments, repayments. This is the government loan that is sanctioned during education. So what happens? Students get the loan, and while when they get the job and they get a salary at that level that is defined by HMRC, then only this loan will start deducting. Otherwise,
mm,
if employee salary is not reaching to that level, they will not pay. So the employee will need to disclose this to employer first, that I have a student loan.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
and what kind of loan? There are four types of loan now. So which plan they have taken, they have to disclose, and
mm,
so employer will record that in the employee's record. So system is configured in a way that if employee salary is reached at that level, it will automatically deduct based on HMRC rules. Okay,
mm,
and I'll show you manual calculation also when we do it. And if student forget, employee forget to inform us,
mm.
so this is also informed by HMRC. So we have a notification for student loans that is also received in the HMRC online account of employer. So in that they will let you know start student loan for this employee. A start student loan means you have to record that student loan. But if employee salary doesn't reach at that level, do not
Mm,
deduct it. Okay, you have to keep recording that this employee has student loan at least. So
mm,
whenever this goes, you don't need to ask again. You have in your records that this employee has student loan, and the system will deduct the student loans.
mm, mm,
Understood? Okay, and then HMRC will also let you know.
mm.
Okay, about the stopping. Okay, stopping will not take employees input. Okay, we'll always take it from HMRC. So HMRC will give you that stop notification also in that report. So maybe
Oh.
they have given 15 notification, out of which 2 is for stop. So you have
Mm,
to stop deducting that student loan for that employee. Then pension contributions are also important. This is also one of the mandatory contributions. I'll explain you when we do the more detailed modules. Pension contributions, now there will be two types of. One is in NIC. I already explained you. In NIC, employee receives the state pension, right?
mm,
Now there is a private pension also. That is employer pension. Okay, which HMRC only ask employers to deduct. That is also a rule. It doesn't mean that employer can do or they cannot do. It doesn't do. They do not have a choice. They have to do, but it is
okay.
an additional pension. The rules are set by HMRC how much they need to deduct, but they have to give one employer pension contribution policy as well. Okay, because in UK the standard of living has been increased, the expenses are increased. So at times the resident is not able to survive with that
Mm,
pension amount that they get from NICs. So
mm,
that's the reason UK government encourages. They used to encourage first to contribute into personal pension, sorry, company pension or private pension. But now, I think since 2013 or before that only, they have start, brought a rule which is
mm.
called as auto enrollment. So all new hires will be auto enrolled into a company pension schemes. They do
It's
not ask now that do you want to join or not. They will auto enroll, and then later off, if employee wants to opt out, they can opt out for any reason. So payroll giving the donations, like we have donations here also, there are tax benefits. In UK also there are tax benefits on donations. This is called as GAYE, give as you earn. Like tax is pay as you earn, donations are give as you earn.
mm,
And There were earlier some saving schemes also, which was called as save as you earn, like 5 years, 2 years. Like we have mutual funds, so there were some 5 years plan, 7 year. They run. This is not mandatory, but I just explain you the concepts. Okay, PAY, GAY, SAY, save as you earn, pay as you earn, give as you earn. Okay, they use these terms. Then child maintenance payments. These are the payments that is uh, for the upbringing of child if there is a divorce, okay, or separation. So the child, the parent who is taking care of child, the other parent has to pay that amount to the parent who is taking care of child. Okay, or if there is a death, maybe if the child is with in-laws, then that in-laws will be paid somehow from the parent who is separated, who is not taking care of child. Okay, so this comes into court orders. Okay, like court will decide how much amount will need be to be paid deducted from the employee's salary, and they will inform HMRC and employer. So employer starts deducting this court order. Okay, normally this is informed to the HR department, and HR will share it with payroll team that this is the court order received from the employee. Start deducting child maintenance amount, so that amount will be paid to the court directly, and this goes to the child. Otherwise, if they pass a law wherein employee has to pay directly to the child, who will keep the track if the person is paying that amount or not, right? So it is better the court is collecting and court is directly paying to the. This is directed directly from payroll. Okay, and this is also a very important deduction, and you cannot stop this until unless court gives a second notice of stop. Okay, if
Oh,
employee says I am done, my son has reached out the age of 18, or that person now my child works, so should not pay. That will be decided by court. Employee has to go to court and take court will give a notice. Okay, so this is one of these are important deductions apart from tax and NI. And if you want to run an accurate payroll, you should not miss this. So each employee has specific tax code, as I said, and national insurance category letter. Okay, this also we'll see in the calculation which we do, which are required to calculate employees' taxes and insurance amount. Okay, so complete this payslip part. Okay, every employee has right to get payslip from their employer on or before the pay date. Okay, that I explained you. On or before pay date, employee should get the payslip. This is the rule in UK. And payslip must include these following details. Okay, which is important: pay before any deductions. Okay, if like the gross wages, total
yes.
gross wages, and the components should be mentioned clearly. Deductions should be mentioned: tax and NI amounts. Pay after deductions, there is the net wages, salary. Working hours of employees. Okay,
Oh,
and how many days also should be reported if there is any unpaid day. Or okay, so employees national insurance number and tax code. You see this? These are important details. Like we have PAN number on our pay slips. So national insurance number is very important. This may be used by the employee's legal document also wherever required. And tax code for employees surety that the correct tax code has been applied. Okay, these are mandatory details. Rate of pay, as I said, the salary. They can mention as hourly rate also in the pay slip. That is fine. Or annual salary they can mention, and the total amount of pay that is paid in that month. Deductions so far in the tax year, whatever deduction, if there is anything extra that we have seen. Okay, we'll see this topic again and again, what all details are important in pay slips. But for now, let's close it here. Next topic is workforce starting and leaving the business. So let's see this topic. So this is mainly related to starting a business in UK. Okay, to start a business in UK, the company needs to provide all the relevant company details to HMRC, as which means the registration document, like we do our registration in India Shop Act, and wherever whatever is mandatory, the registration we do. So this registration should be done with HMRC. The employer needs to register the trading name of the company and the address details. Okay, it will generate a reference number which is important for future communication with HMRC. Okay, for employers use also that number is provided. It is for employer to use everywhere they communicate with HMRC. So it is called as pay reference number, PAYE. You see this pay term will come again and again everywhere. So it is mainly the term of HMRC system, but mainly it is related to taxation. Okay, so pay reference number will be the unique identification number which will be given to an organization, and employees can also ask that number, because what will happen whenever employee communicates with HMRC, okay, they say that I cannot see my tax code updated, or I cannot see some my details. So what HMRC will do? HMRC cannot locate employee based on the name. They can locate, but there will be multiple employees with the same name. So that is the reason what they ask. First, give us your company's reference number. So it is easier for them to locate the employee. Then you share a number. Okay. They can ask NI number also directly, and they can check the details. But for main purpose, they ask pay reference number also. So
Okay.
employee will come to company and say, can you share my the pay reference number? So we can share that with employee. That is fine. Okay. It will generate a reference number, which is important for future communication with HMRC. It also ensures any payments or claims of income tax and national insurance that you make in the future. So everything is recorded for the organization in HMRC records in in accordance with the reference number, so that they know, okay, where these company details are related to this reference number. If any of your employee now leaving the business in UK, if any of your employee leaves or retires, you need to inform HMRC for deducting and paying the right amount of tax and insurance. So if there is a new hire or new business, or you are leaving the business, or there is a leaver in your organization, okay, everything you have to inform HMRC. Okay, so that the correct amount of tax is also calculated for the leaver. And for business, because if you're stopping the business, that is also important to notify HMRC, because from next month they will not get the FPS. So they will wait for the FPS and you're not sending it. So maybe after 3-4 months, they will reach out to you and they'll come to know, okay, this business was closed.
Hmm.
So it is important to communicate all the decisions with HMRC. If the employee is leaving the current tax year without getting a pension, okay, if there is a leaver who is leaving in the current tax year without getting a pension, which means a normal leaver, like the employee is not at the state pension age, make a note of their leaving date on their payroll record and make the required deduction in the next full payment submission, like we do in India also. That is the FNF. Okay, which means this employee is leaving the organization completely. Okay, otherwise if employee gets retired, they receive pension from that organization. Their payroll will be there active, but instead of salary, they will now receive the pension amount every month or annually or quarterly, depending on their pension plan. Okay, so if there is a leaver complete who is leaving the organization completely, so we have to do their final settlement. That is the reason this is the point mentioned here. Now, employee leaving in the next tax year, if you have already paid an employee for the last time, do not include their leaving date in the same FPS as their final payment. The required information will be included in the first FPS of the new tax year. Okay, so if you have already paid an employee for the last time, which means, for example, employee is leaving in March, okay, and you came to know about it later. You've already paid this employee. Okay, sorry, you already this employee is leaving in the next tax year, that is in April, for example 8th April. Okay, and you have already paid employee till March. Okay, so do not include, and you come to know that this employee is leaving in April. Okay, so do not send the leaving date in March, because this is the financial year closing and employee is leaving in the new tax year, that is 8th April. So it should not be recorded as leaver in the current financial year. Okay, so that should be in the first month of next year, this employee should be recorded as the leaver. Okay, so do not send this to HMRC because you came to know that this is a leaver employee, but this employee is leaving on 8th April, that is the next financial year. So do not send information to HMRC early. Send the information to HMRC in April FPS only. Okay. the required information will be included in the first FPS of the new tax year. You understand? Leaving date. So if you have already paid them amounts, there is no due. Okay. So you just mentioned the leaving date of the employee, 0 in the pay and tax in this period field if there is nothing due. If there is something due for 2 days, you have to mention that amount. Okay. 0 in the YTD figure field. YTD figure field will always be 0 because this is the first month of the year. So there is no YTD figure. Okay. A payment date for the period, which date you are paying the employee, you have to mention that. Now paying a company pension. If employee is retiring, okay, not leaving the organization, but retiring, completing the state pension age. So if you're paying a pension to the employee, no need to include their leaving details in FPS as they are still on your payroll. Okay. So you don't mention that this employee is leaving. Do not put any termination date for the employee because employee is not leaving, employee is retiring. So you do not need to report the employee as a leaver. Okay. Generate a different payroll ID for the pension payments. So instead, you can generate a new employee ID because it will be easier for you also to identify that these employee IDs are pension employees. So some companies, what they do, okay, they put a different kind of numbers so that it is easily identifiable that these are the pension employees. For example, normal employee ID starts with 100. Okay. So maybe for pension, they can keep 900. Starting with 900, this means they are pension employees. Okay. So change the payroll ID for the employee. Okay. And then give the full amount of pension annually. So normally in UK, the standard process is to pay pension annually. Okay. But if there is a provision, the employee wants monthly or quarterly, and the pension scheme provides that facility, that could be paid monthly or quarterly as well. Okay. It will be like a same payroll, normal payroll. Instead of salary, there will be a pension component. Employees' existing tax code will work on week 1 or month 1 until a new code is received from HMRC. So this is something you'll not understand now, but let me explain you in a simple way. So employees' existing tax code, okay, the tax code will remain same, but tax basis will change. Okay, which means will not calculate this cumulative. Okay, tax will not be cumulative. Tax will be based on monthly because this is a pension calculation. So you cannot mix the pension amount with the taxation of salary. So for example, if employee is retiring in October, so till September you have paid the salary and taxation was based on salary. Salary might be more. If you add the pension also and then do a cumulative tax calculation, it will be wrong. So that is the reason you have to move this calculation to monthly calculation. And maybe in 1 or 2 months, when HMRC comes to know that this employee is retiring, okay, they will change the tax code upfront. Okay, so that taxation is calculated according to the retirement pension amount. If the first payment is in the new tax year, okay, if the employee is retiring in March, and now from April, employee will receive pensions. Okay, so April will be the new month, new year and new month. So that time you can keep the cumulative tax basis because there will be no YTD figure. And then also HMRC will change later on because once you in one FPS, you inform HMRC that this is now a pension employee. So HMRC will act immediately. Okay, this is now pension employee. So let's change the tax code. So in next payroll, might be you'll receive the new tax code for the employee in 1 or 2 months. Okay. Put yes in the occupational pension indicator field. Okay, so this let's in the FPS. When you send the FPS, there is a occupational pension indicator field. There you have to put yes for this employee. So HMRC comes to know that this is a pension employee now because they earlier they did not have this employee as a pensioner. Okay, so employee can also transfer all the company pension in that scheme earlier when they transfer to other organization, or else maybe if it is the same company or same provider, the pension fund could be merged at that time only. Okay, so later on he or she receives it together. Okay, so this will be the way. Or else if employees taking some pension outside the organization, then there is no need of paying the employee from the organization. If employee doesn't take that occupational pension. Okay. So we'll treat that employee as a normal leaver. Like when they terminate, when they retire, we'll terminate the records also and we'll notify HMRC. Then pension provider will pay that employee every month or annually. Then they will report to HMRC. They will need to work on the tax code. We don't need to worry about it. A retirement statement is important, showing employment details and retirement date. So HR will also prepare a retirement statement for the employee when they retire. Okay, they will provide the retirement date and what funds they will receive in the upcoming annual, like whatever they have accumulated so far. So they will get a statement. Okay, so this is important for a retired employee. Deal with HMRC in relation to new employees. If there is a new employee, what are the important things that we need to follow? What HMRC asks. Okay, so this is the full form that I've already told you. Her Majesty's. If you want to write it down, you can write it down, or else you can see it on the module. Okay. You'll always see this crown on the Her Majesty Revenue logo, HMRC logo. So the term Her Majesty Revenue and Customs refers to the tax authority of UK government. As I said, Her Majesty's Revenue Services is responsible for collecting taxes, paying child benefits, enforcing tax and custom laws, and enforcing the payment of minimum wage by employers. So all these are governed by HMRC. Okay, HMRC was formed in 2005. Okay, it was not too long. Earlier, there were two entities, okay, following which was merged. So these were Inland Revenue and the Board of Customs and Excise. So the responsibilities were divided. Later on, it was merged together, and HMRC was formed. Now HMRC takes care of all these responsibilities, which is NIC. NIC National Insurance contributions. I think almost 18 to 20% of UK government income depends on national insurance. So they receive revenue from national insurance, almost 18 to 20%. So you can understand how important it is. Then they also take care of child benefits. So as I said, court will uh, court will decide, okay, some responsibilities for the parents, and then HMRC has to ensure that the employees' payments are managed in a proper way and the child receive that benefits. Then tax credits, income tax, corporation tax, inheritance tax, all kind of taxes are managed by HMRC. So in child benefits, some kind of other arrangements also includes, wherein it doesn't only relate to the divorce employees. Okay, if there are parents who have child, so they provide child support also. Like if there is a for example, what we call it here in India, we have some caring schools wherein we can keep our child during our work. We can just like daycare, yes. So daycare centers or some discounts or some school services which is provided by the HMRC. This comes under all child benefits. Okay, new employee and HMRC. So what do you do when you have a new employee? You must tell HMRC when you take a new employee and be registered as an employer. Okay. Before telling HMRC that we have a new employee, we should be registered with HMRC as an employer. Okay. So if it's a new organization, ensure that the organization is first registered, and then we get the facility to inform HMRC through FPS that whenever, like, for example, we have just started the business this month. So we'll register ourselves. And then when we hire employees, then we'll notify this employee to HMRC also. And always remember when you register in start, okay, so HMRC gives you extra time to send the FPS. So you don't need to follow the deadline in the first month, because obviously you may miss it because the registration may take time, or you may take time to set up the payroll. So they provide 30 days extra time in the first payroll. Okay, so you can send it late. You need to pay them through pay. As I said, if you have to register with HMRC and you need to uh, pay them through pay, means you are informing HMRC about their income and taxation. So that means paying through pay. Okay. If if you have employees whose salaries are very less, maybe they are part-timers, or you have just a food chain, okay, where your employees work only 3 or 4 hours. So your employee salary is not reaching that level wherein employees are paying taxes and NICs. Okay, they are only receiving complete salary because the salary is not at that level slab, so they are not paying taxes and NIC. So at that time, you don't need to register if you are not paying HMRC, any taxes, any NICs, because employee salaries are less. So you don't need to register yourself as an employer. That is fine. Okay. Get employee information, work out their tax code. Okay. So get employee information to work out their tax code, which means uh, take information from employee. Okay. There could be some employee who are new joiners, freshers. There could be some employee who are experienced. So what we do, we ask P45. Okay, from P45 we come to know the tax code of the employee, right? Or else for new hires, there is a fresher. There is a different form which is called new starters checklist. They have to fill. They have to mention this is my first job, and we'll give them default tax code. Now find if they have to pay a repay a student loan. How? It will be mentioned in P45 as well. So in P45, the previous employer will also mention if there was student loan for the employee. And they will also mention the amount if they have deducted anything. So this way we come to know that employee has student loan also. Okay. And in new starter checklist also, a fresher employee will mention if they have student loan. If they have missed to provide, if they are not disclosing in new starter checklist, okay, later on anyways, HMRC is going to give us start student loan deduction for this employee. Set up your new employee in your payroll system, like HR will set up the employee, and then whatever details payroll needs to fill, they can fill it, like the tax codes or some any information that we need to provide, and then without which we cannot run payroll. So like bank information and all. Register your employee with HMRC using a full payment submit. Sorry, it is not FMC, it is FPS. Okay, so register your employee with HMRC using a full payment submission. So first payroll, when you do the payroll, uh, you'll include this employee also in the FPS. Okay? There will be a new employee for HMRC, and they will come to know, okay, this is a new joiner, because we'll put the start date of the employment also in the FPS. Almost all the details we put, start date. Okay, if there is a date of termination, then we put that also in FPS. So it will be blank for active employees, but if someone is leaving, so there will be a date of termination also. So registering new employee, while paying the first time your new employee, registering your new employee with HMRC by including the following details on full payment submission. So information collected from them means their personal details like date of birth, name, address. Okay. So their personal details will be mentioned, and like student loans, some information we collect from them. So those, and then tax code and starter declaration. Okay. So tax code, as I told you, this is used for taxation purpose. Starter declaration means like employers declared the uh, employee has student loan or not. So this is some information that we fetch from starter declaration form. Okay. Then payment and deductions. So whatever payment we have made to the employee, like salary, any allowances, okay, any overtime, so that will be included in the gross pay. That is total pay in FPS, and deductions like taxation, student loans, NICs, any court orders. So these deductions will also be mentioned in the FPS. So everything we report to HMRC every month or every week whenever we do the payroll. So the starter declaration will have that NI number. So we'll provide the NI number to HMRC if we have it. Okay. In some cases, it could be possible that employee doesn't have NI number. They will say, I don't have it. I'll provide next month. I've requested it from HMRC. Because like we have PAN numbers, employees, sometimes people register late for PAN number. So for in first month, they do not provide. So, but next month they have to. Similarly, NI number, if they have not provided, so it will be blank. So what will happen? If there is a NI number blank, okay, so you have to ensure that address is provided at least, mandatory for that employee. Why I'll tell you, okay? Because what will happen? Employee's name will be there, date of birth will already be there. And if address is also there, then at least HMRC can locate this employee. Okay, if that employee name, date, and address matches with their record, Okay, they can find, okay, this is the NI number. Let's give it to this organization. Okay, then they will share the NI number with us, which they think that it could be the NI number for the employee. Okay, understood. So ensure that if you do the payroll, you have to ensure that address should not be missed if NI number is not there for new hire. Okay, and postcode is very important. Correct postcode. Like we have PIN code, there is a postcode in UK. Now giving new employee a payroll ID. So we always give unique ID to all the employees. It cannot be same. The ID must be unique. Okay, but in some countries, like in India also, I'm not sure. You can just share your observations. In India, if we rehire someone, we normally use the same employee ID, right? Where when employee left earlier, the same employee ID. Yes, so we use
Yes,
the
yes.
same employee ID. But in UK, you have to ensure something. If you re-employ someone, rehire, for example, employee left in June, now in October, employee is joining again. So in UK, there is a cumulative tax calculation. Okay, so everything starts from April again. So that is the reason if you already close someone's record, calculate final taxation in June, and when you give the same employee ID in October again, so you'll calculate everything again. You'll duplicate that. So that is the reason you cannot open the old record of the employee. If there is a rehire, you have to give a new employee ID, different one. Okay, that is the only thing you have to remember in UK. It is one of the most important thing for new hires. Okay, use a different employee ID. That will be better. Now, overview of the national insurance contribution. Let's see some details around NICs. Uh, but this will not include calculations. I'll show you the calculation in upcoming sessions because first we'll cover taxation. NICs little I'm not saying complicated, but complicated to understand. I'll make it simple for you. Taxation is a little simple to understand first, then we'll jump on NIC. But let's understand few basic details around NICs. Okay. So NIC are taxes again. It is considered as taxes only, but it is treated as employees fund only. Okay, because at the end, employee receives it back. First, government will use it, and then they'll pay the employee back when they retire. Also, in between, if employee needs any benefits due to statutory leaves, as I said, maternity, paternity, this is also paid to the employees. Okay, so are paid by the British employees and employers to fund government benefits. Okay, including state pensions. Now, the history, if you see the national insurance system in the United Kingdom began with National Insurance Act 1911 and was limited to a government funded unemployment benefit. It was just for unemployment benefit earlier. At the time, health insurance and pension benefits were administered by private trade unions and approved societies. Okay, so the insurance and pension benefits were managed separately. Okay, by the approved societies like we have in India also. There are some government institutes. They have societies. We have society. They take loan from society. Like in some states, you will find that government teachers, okay, government employees, they have a different society from where they operate. So earlier it was different entity, but later on it was merged together. Like in the national insurance, everything was included, pension as well and insurance that we see. Okay, and old age pension was paid to people over age 70. Okay, earlier. So in March 1943, Prime Minister Winston Churchill promised that national compulsory insurance for all classes, for all purposes, from the cradle to the grave. So this was the change, but it took some time. Like uh, this system was not fully in place until 1948. So in 1948, this was fully functionable, right? It has periodically been revised, which means there were some benefits included later on again added, like maternity benefits and other benefits. Okay, earlier it was only pension and insurance, okay, and unemployment benefit, but later on maternity, paternity, all type of leaves were also added. So it keeps on improving. Now if you see, there are a lot of benefits in UK. If you see, medical benefits are also covered by government. Why? Because they are paying high taxes and NICs. So if you take doctor appointment, you don't need to pay them. So, and I don't think there are private doctors also. They only have mainly the government doctors in UK. So they don't need to pay fees. It is directly paid to them
So
by the government. It has periodically been revised, expanded, and cut back depending on the prevailing political climate. Okay, so today British employees pay the national insurance rate from age 16 through the official retirement age. Okay, so if they start working through 16 age, they can still contribute. If they are earning high salary, they can still contribute to NIC after 16 of it. So I'm not sure in India, do you know like it is 21 years after which we need PAN number, or it is 18?
yes.
18. Okay. So in UK, after 16, they need an NIC number to be
Mhm.
registered. Okay. And they can pay the contributions if they earn a good salary after 16 also. Okay, because there is a rate of salary above which only they will contribute to NIC. Before that, they will not contribute. Okay, so which is age 65, the retirement age. Till from 16 to 65, they can contribute to NICs. After 65, there is a retirement age, so they will get the benefits. So they don't need to contribute more into NIC after 65. Okay, it was increased to 65 sorry 67 also, the
So
retirement age. Then it went back to 65. So it happened, may happen, like in it was earlier 70. If you see, the old pension age was 70 earlier
yeah.
in 1911. So that can change. Then NI number, on the right side, if you see, this is a kind of example how NI number looks like. Like we also have combination of numbers and alphabets. NIC number is almost similar. The first two letters, then numbers, then last letter will be a alphabet. Okay.
Mm.
So you can find your national insurance number on your payslip, your P60. P60 is the year-end document I was
Mm.
talking about. Like we have Form 16. So P60 is the year-end document that employees receive, and P45 is the document if employee leaves in between. So this will also have the NI number.
So
Everywhere where the income is mentioned, like we have PAN number, NIC number will be displayed on the
yeah.
everywhere. Text documents or any documents that relates to HMRC or income, it will
Mm.
have NIC number as a proof. Okay. So when we talk about national insurance, so there are different classes of national insurance. Okay. Now what is the class? Classes is based on the employee status and type of employer. Okay. Now there is class one, class 1A or 1B, class two, class 3, and class 4. Okay. There are mainly four classes. Class 1A or 1B comes into class 1 only. Okay, now let's see what is this. Now class 1 is for normal employees. Okay, where we have employee-employer relationship, where employees work. So all the national insurance contributed for employee and by employee will be under class 1. Okay, that is
Mm.
normal, like we have PF, employee-employer PF, employee-employer NIC will be under class 1. Okay, simple. Then class 1A or class 1B is only paid by employers. Okay, it is also related to employees only, but it is only paid by employers. Okay,
Mm.
they pay this on the benefits or expenses paid to employees separately. Okay, as you know, expenses and benefits are separate components, wherein if there are some expenses employees are claiming, it is considered as income because this is paid by the. So these are reported by employer at the year end to the HMRC that these are something additional which is paid to employee as expenses claimed or benefits. It could be a car benefit or something. So on that, employer has to
So
pay NIC only. So these are called class 1A or class 1B. Class 1A or class 1B is only contributed by employer. Employee will not contribute anything.
mm.
Okay. And this is at the year end. Okay. Class 2 is for self-employed people. Okay. This is the difference. I was telling you, there are some differences for self-employed people. So people who are running business and that person is self-employed, like only individual employee is running a business. Okay, so they earn profits. Okay, on profits they can do the contributions. So their minimum profit, okay, should be 6725 per annum pounds.
Okay.
Okay, if it is
Mm.
less than this, they don't need to contribute NIC.
Okay.
There will be no NIC contribution. Okay, if their profit crosses this limit, or this is 6725 or more, then they have to pay class 2. And it is up to them how they want to pay. If they want to pay annually after the year end, they can report their profits, or they want to pay quarterly, estimating the profit, that is also fine. Like previous year profits, they can show and estimate, and they can contribute. Okay. Now there is a limit also. Okay. Minimum is 6725. Employee should earn as a profit, then only they can contribute to NIC as class 2. Below that, they will not contribute. So below that, if they want to contribute NIC, they can contribute voluntarily. It is not mandatory. Okay, above 6725 or 6725, it is mandatory. Okay, so if they think they will not earn profit this year, they earn only 5,000, maybe they are estimating. So they will think that we will lose 1 year of NIC contribution, right? Because like in India, the more you contribute, the more you get the PF amount, right? The interest, and the more, like for if you're contributing to 30 years, you'll get some amount. But if you're contributing 35 years, then you will definitely have a significant amount, more amount, right? So in UK also, there is a limit. If employees contribute more than 30 years, they get a decent amount, they get more amount. So they don't want to break their contributions. Okay, this is one of the reason they don't want to break or reduce their tenure. Like if 2 years they do not earn profit, so 2 years will be reduced. They do not contribute to NIC. At that time, what they can do, they can voluntarily contribute. They can say that we are not earning profit, but we want to contribute to NIC, so that they have that continuation, and some benefits also they get from NIC. So that benefit may not be paid to them if they continuously do not contribute for 2-3 years. They'll not receive that benefit, right? In between they need it. So there are, that is the reason this is the provision where they can contribute voluntarily if their profit is less. Okay, and this voluntary contribution is class 3 NIC. Okay, you see class 3 voluntary contributions, you can pay them to fill your or avoid gaps in your national insurance record. Okay, then class 4 is again for self-employed people. Okay, but earning profit on higher side, who are earning profit 9,881 per annum or more a year. Okay, earlier what was the profit? 6725 or more. Okay, so for class 2, this ends at 9881. So 6725 or more, but less than 9881. Then they will contribute to class 2. If the profit goes above 9881, they will contribute to class 4 NIC. The rate is different because the profits are more. So these two are for self-employed people, 2 and 4. This amount has been changed. This is old amount. It is around, I think, 12,000 now, but I'll show you the new amount. Okay. So this, there are some benefits that we can see here. Class 1, based on class 1, class 2 is self-employed, and class 2 voluntary contributions. Okay. Sorry, this is class 3 voluntary contribution. Mistake has happened here. Okay. So now let's see what are these benefits. Class 4 is not considered here. Okay. So basic state pension. Okay, state pension is paid to all classes. If they contribute, class 1 is contributed, okay, they will definitely get state pension. Even if the tenure is less, that they will receive less amount, but they will receive state pension. And people who are contributing class 2, they also get the state pension. Okay, and if someone is contributing for more years into voluntary contributions, they also get the state pension. That is the reason they are contributing, right? If they do not get basic state pension, what is the use of contributing voluntarily? They will not worry about it, right? So everyone gets state pension, and class 4 also gets it. Okay? So consider class 2 and class 4 same. So this column is not here. So class 2 and class 4 are all same. Okay, class 1, then class 2 and class 4, and then class 3, third column. Okay, additional state pension. There are some employees who get additional state pension also, okay, based on their salary contribution. If they are contributing higher amount, okay, maybe they are on director or a higher level, their salary is more. They are contributing higher amount of NIC. Like we have PF also, which is on higher side. So there are some additional state pension they get. Also based on the tenure also they get, like if they contribute full 35 years or 38 or 39 years, okay, or 40 years, so they get some additional state pension, but that is at the end when they retire. HMRC will calculate and they will provide. We cannot estimate it now. Employee
Okay.
can reach out to HMRC and ask this question. That is their call out. Employer doesn't have any insight around about it. Okay, as an employer we don't need to worry about that. Is employee will check with HMRC directly. Okay, this is just for information purpose. Class 2 and class 3 and class 4 doesn't get. If someone is only contributing voluntary for entire lifetime, definitely they will not get uh, additional state pension. Okay, they can get
So,
basic state pension, but if some period, maybe 15 years they contributed class 1 and then 15 years they contributed voluntarily. Okay, so in that case maybe they will be eligible for additional state pension, but maybe. But if someone has only contributed into voluntary contributions, then they will not get the additional state
state pension.
pension. New state pension, if there is any new state pension, as I said, the pension age also changes, so maybe there is a new rate applied. If there is any changes, and there is a new state pension also applicable, like in India also. Earlier, we used to get pension contribution in the PF. Okay, some employees have that. Now, new employees doesn't get that option. I think for the new pension. I'm not sure about it, but this way there is some rule changes. There is a new state pension, so it is applicable for everyone. Like basic state pension is applicable, new state pension rates are also applicable. Maybe when they retire, the old pension is stopped. Okay, old basic. So new state pension is there. So that will be paid to everyone. Then contribution based job seekers allowance. As I said, if there is an employee, that employee will only search for a job, right? Like the job seeker allowance, if they get unemployed, they will search for job. But if there is a class 2 and class 4, they are running business, so they will not get job seeker allowance. So contribution based job seeker allowance means they have contributed NIC. That is the reason they can claim it now, the benefit. Okay, voluntary contributions are also, if employees continuously paying voluntary contribution, for example, since 3 years. Okay, so they may not. That is again, HMRC will check if there is some good record earlier. Maybe employee has contributed for 10 years NIC earlier. Now only for 3 years they are contributing voluntarily. So maybe HMRC will consider this case. Okay, but when we talk about pure voluntary contribution, which means employee has been contributing only voluntarily currently, in that case, straightforward no. Okay, contribution based employment and support allowance. So this is something which is paid to both. Okay, employees also and self-employed people also. That is some kind of loan, you can say, employment and support allowance. Okay, like we have in PF, we need some uh, if we face any medical condition. Okay, if we face any, if there is a marriage, there are some special situation where we can withdraw some amount of pension, PF, right? Similarly, they can do the justification and they can withdraw some amount. Okay, for support allowance. Maternity allowance, this is something employee gets. Why? And this is paid to self-employed people also. And that is the reason they don't want to break the contributions. Okay, if they need maternity allowance. So what happens? For example, an employee is working in a one organization for 10 years, and that employee has been contributing to NIC. Okay, now this employee has changed the job, and within 2 months of changing the job, she is going on maternity leave. So there is some criteria wherein HMRC says that employee has to complete some period in the in the current organization to get the maternity payment, statutory maternity payment. That employee has to complete some 39 weeks or 49 weeks. Okay, then only they are eligible for statutory maternity pay from that employer. Otherwise, they will be on unpaid maternity leave. They cannot get it from employer, even though they have contributed into NIC earlier. That doesn't make any sense. Current employment, they have to serve some period. Then only they will get it. So for example, this employee has contributed 10 years. Now this new employment, she worked only 2 months and now she's on maternity. So she will be unpaid, right? She'll be on unpaid leave on maternity. So at this time, employee can get the payment from HMRC directly because she has already contributed to NIC. So this is called maternity allowance. Okay, they can directly get from HMRC even though the employer is not paying. Okay, then bereavement support payment. This is what I explained you. Bereavement is when there is a death of child. So if employee can claim this benefit, yes, like maternity, they can also claim bereavement support also in class 2, class 4, and class 1. All these three. If they are voluntary contributing everything, they will not get like completely like entire tenure. They are just contributing voluntarily or maybe for some long period. So they may not get these benefits, but they can check with HMRC if they have partially contributed earlier through class 1 or class 2 or class 4. Okay, so they can check they are still can get it or not. If they are purely contributing everything since start in voluntary contribution, then no, straightforward no. Okay, understood. So what we do, which will be very easily accessible for you, there is a UK government website. Okay, you don't need to go here and there for multiple things. You find everything in that website. Okay,
Okay.
so that is your complete database for payroll. Okay, so what it is called? It is called as gov.uk. But what I do normally, I type HMRC tax rates and thresholds I need for 2023-24. That is current year. Okay, you remember that the start of the financial year is 6th April and end is 5th April. So it's 6th April 2023 to 5th April 2024. So I just want to check the latest tax rates and thresholds. Okay, if you type this, you will be directed. You will be getting this link. You see this gov.uk. Okay, so this will take you always see this. You see the crown and gov.uk. Okay, this is the official website of HMRC. Okay, to check all the rates and all the calculations how you can perform in payroll. There is a separate portal which employer will access, okay, using the login ID and password. That is some separate thing, okay, where they can access their employee details and submit information to HMRC and get information from HMRC. That is a different port login that the employer will get separately. This is for everyone. Everyone can access this information without any charge. Okay, so if I click on this, you see I have been directed to rates and thresholds. So like we use term slabs in India, tax slabs. It is same in other countries also. In UK also they call slab, but official term they use is rates and thresholds. Okay, rates mean the percentage that we calculate. That is a deduction of 20% or 30%. It is rate. Thresholds means the slab. Okay. Okay. So these are the rates which is applicable from 6th April 2023. That is the financial year starting this year. Okay, this is 2023 2024. If you want to see previous year, what you have to do, you have to just type 20 to 23. Okay, you can check previous year also. Similarly, you can check more old data. Okay, so if you want to check what was last year's rates, you can come here and see. Okay, so I'll check this year and I'll show you how it looks and how you can access those details. So I'll go in this link. Okay,
Yes.
you see when it is published, 27 Feb 2023, way in advance, way back in advance, like 6th April is the financial year start, and 27th February, that is almost more than a month before
Yeah.
they have published the new rates. Okay, and if there are any changes, further changes, the last update was 17 March. So you can see what was changed after this. Okay, so what you see, content. Okay, these are, I would say, 100%, but how you utilize it depends on that. So you'll find all 100% information here related to payroll. Okay, these are the contents. And when you go in inside this link, you'll find more links. So you can get more details here. Okay, the
Okay.
only thing is we should know the basics, how to use it. So terminology, how it is explained by HMRC, that we should know. Most of the time, there is a UK payroll certification in UK. Okay, which is costing high also at times. So it is almost like a accountant course in UK. So they are able to use it easily because they do a course on that. They understand how the HMRC use the terminology, but we know the basics. You can use that basic. What I am here to explain you that, and you can utilize these links to understand what I've explained you. You can use it in your day-to-day calculations also. So it starts with the pay tax. You remember pay? What I said, pay
Yes.
is tax. Okay, and class one national insurance contribution. Class one is for employees. Okay, so we are mainly learning about payroll where there are employees, so we will not get much into details on class 2, class 3 and class 4 mainly, because these are for business people. Class 2 and class 4 mainly. Class 3 still it is a voluntary contribution that we'll see, but it is only class 1 here because we are mainly learning about the payroll, because we only do the payroll for employees. We don't do it for self-employed people, because self-employed people will file it like a business person in India. On they will file it through a chartered accountant.
Excellent. Hmm.
Okay, a consultant or a chartered accountant. In India, we say chartered accountant. They say tax consultant. Correct. Okay. So these are the links. You see this? This is one. We'll go in this link. Then you see tax thresholds and rates and codes. Okay. Then class one national insurance thresholds. This means the slab. This means the rates, how it is deducted. These are the expenses and benefits explanation here. 1A. Okay, class 1A. Then here are more details on class 1 in national insurance related to termination awards. How do we calculate national insurance on these two payments? Okay, then class 1B is also explained. Then national minimum wage is explained. Here you see statutory maternity, paternity, adoption, shared parental. You'll find these details also here. Then statutory sickness pay is also here. Student loan, postgraduate loan recovery, it is here. Company cards details. Okay, you can find it here. Employee vehicles, if there are employee vehicles, so how it is treated, the benefits. Then employment allowance, this also I'll explain you. And apprenticeship levy, these are almost 100% details that we need to run a UK payroll. Okay, so how do we check this? Okay, let's check the first link. This will take me to pay tax class 1 in national insurance. So this will show you some information. Okay, you normally operate PAY as part of your payroll, so HMRC can collect income tax and national insurance. So wherever you see this link, you can gather more information. Okay, so if you go, they will explain what is PAY. Okay, then they will explain you more about it. Okay, so at times you don't need to know everything, but from knowledge point of view, you can read this. Okay, you can read this if something is going to impact you. Okay, then tax thresholds rates. So these are the tax slab and what are the percentages, and there is a code for
Hmm.
tax exemption. We use tax codes. I'll show you that calculation today. So you'll find this Northern Ireland and England rates separately. You see this? So England and Northern Ireland have the same rates. They share the same rates. So this is the personal allowance amount. I'll explain you what is this. And this is the slab. You see, basic rate, salary from 0 to 30. Don't note it down. I will give you these details. So don't
Okay.
worry about it. So 20%, okay, on salary from 0 to 37,700. This is annual earnings. Okay, then higher rate will be applied if the salary is above 37,700 to 1,25,140. 140. This is again annual salary, and then additional rate will be applied any salary above that. Okay, similarly, you will find Scotland rates. It has little different slab. Okay, you'll find Scotland, then you'll find Wales also. Okay, so these are the tax rates. Similarly, if you come down, you'll see national insurance slab. Okay, don't get confused for now. This is the slab, same like taxation. There are different category of income, lower earning limit, primary threshold. Then if you come down further, you'll find the percentages. Okay, so employees will be allocated a code category letter, like you and me can be on A. This is general category. Okay, B, C are some, these are some special categories applied due to some situation. So what will be the percentage of employee contribution? So if you see, employee contributions are also called as primary. This is for employee. Then if you come further down, you find for employer contributions. Okay, similarly, so this is these kind everything is here. Okay, class 1A explanation. So what you can do, you can click on this links also. Okay, like let's see statutory cases as you asked. If I click on this, I will be directed to statutory calculations, how it is paid. Okay, so statutory maternity pay, weekly rate for first 6 weeks. What is the amount? 90% of average weekly earnings. Don't get confused for now. I'll explain you all this when we do these calculations. Then for remaining weeks, okay, remaining weeks, how much do you pay? This is also explained here. Okay, so 172.48 or 90% of the average weekly earning, whichever. So first 6 weeks they pay higher rate based on the income. Then remaining weeks means total 39 weeks paid is paid to maternity employee on maternity. So 33 weeks remaining will be paid per week. This is always weekly rate. Statutory payments are always weekly.
Oh,
172.48 per week or 90% of the average weekly earning. If it is lesser, if it is
mm,
less than this, then we'll pay
oh,
90% of the average weekly earning. Otherwise, we'll pay 172.48. So as I said, if companies say thinks that this weekly payment is less for my employee, so I want to pay
more
300
they can.
pounds.
Yeah.
So remaining the balance will be paid by company, and these payments we can recover from HMRC, whatever we payment or recovery it is mentioned. You see this recovery. So these payments we can get back from HMRC. We have maternity, paternity, adoption, shared parental bereavement payment. So here you see these are what HMRC says 92% will be paid back. Okay. So 92% of whatever we pay as an employer, HMRC gives us back. Okay. Why? Because they think we are a bigger organization. How they measure it, we are a bigger organization. They, why do not, you'll think why they are not giving 100% to us? Because it's statutory payment. Maybe this is something that HMRC decides. What they say, if the NI contribution, okay, NI contribution is like a PF. If company's NI contribution, that is employee plus employer both, in a year is above 45,000 pounds, okay, in a year, if employee
Mm,
plus employer contribution is above 45,000, that is for previous year we can see, because this year is not completed, so it is more than 45,000, then HMRC pays only 92% of these amounts what we pay. Okay,
mm,
they pay only 92% back to us. But
mm,
if the national insurance contribution is less than 45,000 in a year, they pay 103% back to us. You see, 3% extra they pay us, because you can just relate. If the contribution is less than 45,000, which means there are less employees and company would be a small size. That's the reason HMRC is encouraging and giving more amount. You see, if the contribution is more, which means you can just think it, assume that the company is a large organization. There will be more number of employees maybe. So that is the reason. This is the bifurcation that HMRC does, and we don't know the logic why they do it. Okay, so that could, so these kind of information, everything you'll find it here. So if you want to learn more, here you see the link. You go into this link, you'll find more information, eligibility criteria, how employee will be eligible, what is the notice period. You mean like how in advance, what, how much period in advance employee has to inform the organization I want to take paternity. All this information will be given. You see this 6 weeks 90%, and then 33 weeks remaining. Okay, then sickness is here. So we'll see all these topics. So you can see all the topics here already. Okay, and if you need to know, we'll check one by one whenever we do the topic. Go one by one. So we'll start with the taxation. Okay, so we'll see taxation first. Now in UK, what happens? Uh, UK government gives a tax code to employees. Okay, now how the tax code looks like? Tax code looks like this. If you see emergency tax code means the general tax code. Okay, that is
mm,
applied to all employees. Like it is general default. It will be given to all employees. Okay, it will change, which means
mm,
it can reduce whenever there is a situation. Now I'll explain you what is this.
Yeah.
Emergency means normal only. This
Do.
is the general category text. Okay. So if the text code is 1257L, okay. Now what this mean? Text code will look like this. Okay. And there are other text codes also. I'll show you, but this is general one. Okay. There will be a letter. Now this gets converted into a personal allowance. I'll tell you what is personal allowance. So how do you convert it? Okay, you have to just replace this letter, okay, by 0. So it is 12,570 now. You can call this personal allowance. Now what is personal allowance? This is actually a tax exemption. Okay, that this much amount will not be taxed from employee salary. You'll get tax exemption for this. Okay. So now how it is applied? This is a annual figure. So tax code, we convert it to personal allowance. This is annual always. Okay. So in a year, if your tax code is 1257L, you'll get 12,570 non-tax benefit. That is tax exemption. So if your salary is 35,000 pounds per year. Okay. So 12570 will be a tax exemption. So your taxable salary will be 22,430 only. Okay. And this could be divided monthly. If you are doing monthly payroll, this will be divided monthly. If you are doing a weekly payroll, this will be divided by week. This is divided by 52. Okay. Understood? So this is the personal allowance. This is for everyone. Okay. Now what can happen? This number can change. Some employees can have a tax code of 1000L as well. Why it happens? Now if you see, you get 12570 benefit. That's tax exemption, right? Now if your tax code is 1000L, so what happens? What happens if your tax exemption is 10,000 now? Tax exemption reduces. So what happens? There could be any scenario due to which HMRC has reduced some tax code. Maybe employee gets some benefit, more benefit, so they want to charge more taxation. So what they do, HMRC always changes tax codes. Using tax
So,
code, they collect more taxes if they want. So HMRC tells you, use this tax code for this employee, use it. Do not ask question because only you should know when it can change. That is for your knowledge purpose and how you have to use it. That is your important knowledge that you should know. There are multiple reasons due to which HMRC can change the tax code. So you don't need to break head in that. Okay, if you have 10,000 employees and HMRC is changing 500 employees tax codes, you don't need to ask anyone like why it is changing. If employee asks you, you can direct the employee to HMRC. Say that you have to ask HMRC why it is changing. We just apply what HMRC says. Okay, if employee says that please change, I'm paying high taxation due to this, you cannot change. You have to say we have whatever HMRC gives us, we cannot change. If you want to get it changed, discuss with HMRC and ask HMRC to send us the relevant tax code. If you feel your request is genuine, we cannot change on our own. Okay, only there are few situations where you can take decision. Otherwise, you cannot. Employee cannot ask you to change it. Okay, clear? How do you receive these tax codes? As I said, HMRC will notify employers always. So if there is a fresher, okay, if there is a fresher who has not worked earlier, okay, so what will happen? They will fill starter declaration. It is called starter declaration form. Okay, all fresher will fill this starter declaration whenever they join a company, and the employer, okay, the employer when they fill the option, okay, they will declare that this is my first job and I do not have any special circumstances and this is my first job. Okay, and they will also disclose the student loan, that they have student loan or not, all basic information. So looking at the starter declaration, you will apply the basic tax code for the employee, which is that is the reason it is general and default. Okay, when employee sends you starter declaration, you'll apply this default taxation. Then first month is processed. Okay, the salary will be processed with 12570. Later on, if HMRC finds something else, well, then what happens? You will report FPS. You will use this tax code. You will pay employee, and then you will report the information in FPS to HMRC. HMRC will come to know that this is a new employee in your organization. Okay, then they will check. Okay, tax code 12570 is used. 1257L. Okay, so according to them, if it is correct, they will not do anything. But if they feel next month or after that, if they want to change, if they have more information around this person, so they can change. Maybe they can notify you. They will ask you to change it to 1200L if required, or anything if they want to change. Otherwise, they will not say anything. If they do not say anything, it means there is no, only whenever there is a change, they will send it to you. Okay, so what happens? HMRC, whenever they change, they will notify you. So it could be possible that you have completed April payroll. Okay, April payroll, maybe you have taken the cutoff as 10th April. Okay, your cutoff for payroll was 10th April. So you will download HMRC reports only till 10th April. Okay, and then you process the payroll. Now, whatever is received after 10, that is 11th April. Okay, for example, your cutoff is 10th always. So now from 11th April to 10th May. Okay, you will process in May payroll. Okay, whatever you receive after 10. So if the tax code is changed on 11th by HMRC, then you will consider it in May payroll. Okay, and if HMRC can change it at any time, they can change on 11th, they can change on 13th also. What you need to do, you just need to download a report. You need to put start date and end date in HMRC portal. How many tax codes they've changed from this date. So you know till 10th you have downloaded the report now. So you need it from 11. So you'll put start date as 11 and end date as 10th May because you're doing it on 10th May, right? On the cutoff. So you'll get all the list of changes that HMRC will send you. How many employees changes are there? So HMRC may not send you the default tax code. So out of 10,000, 8,000 are a default tax code. So HMRC will not let you know that keep this employees on default tax code. Only for the changes, they will send you the changes that change this employee's tax code. So what we do? Okay, first step will be auto update. Okay, in a financial year. Okay, on 6th April, this is the sequence. Everyone will not teach you. Okay, so what this is because logical that we use. First step will be auto upload. Okay, auto upload or auto upgrade. So what happens here? All the default tax code will get updated new default tax code. So for example, 1257L was the default tax code for 23-24. Now for 24-25, it is 1300L. Okay, so this will be auto updated. If you say yes, okay, system will only target these employees. Okay, for example, out of 10,000, 8,000 employees are updated using this. Okay, remaining 2,000. Okay, remaining 2,000. Okay, will be carried forward same. Okay, if it is unique. Okay, unique tax code. So they will be carried forward same unique tax code, same as this. 2,000 employees on 6th April, this will be same. Why? I'll tell you. Because if you do any assumption and you change it, you may make mistake. So let it be same. If some employee have 1,000L, that employee will still have 1,000L. If someone has 900L, that employee will have 900L. Okay, this will not change. Only the default one will change. Okay, clear so far? This will be the first step. Then second step will be you have to download a HMRC report, which is called P9. Okay, this is a P9 report. So whenever you see P9, you download a HMRC report, and in the source, HMRC has mentioned P9. It means it is the start of the year change. Okay. Otherwise, every month it is P6. Okay. So this is a year update. So after this, what you will do, you download P9 report and update changes wherever required. Okay. Always first step is auto update. Okay. So maybe you have used 6th April as the start date for these tax codes. Okay. So what will happen? It could be possible that there are changes for some of the employee out of 8,000 in the P9 report. Again, HMRC has sent some changes for them.
Oh.
Understand? You have already updated some tax code on 6th
Mm.
April, first day of the year. Then you can use this as 7th April. That is fine. Okay. Because what in April month, if you update any date, okay, the latest record will be considered. Not do vice versa. Okay. Do not do P9 first and then do upload. This will be a mistake. Okay. Always HMRC upload should be latest. Okay. This will be one report which is year start. Okay. So HMRC will give you that provision. You can put effective date and end date, and you can download whatever tax code has been changed there. Multiple times you can download all the reports. You can download one full year report also. It will be a big list then. Right? You can download wherever you want, whatever start date you want to put, you put and check what are the changes for employees. So if it is a bigger population, so normally if you are doing monthly payroll, so what you will do, you'll have a previous month cutoff. So till previous month, for example, this scenario, 10th April was your previous month cutoff. That is April month. Okay. So till 10th April, you have to ensure that you downloaded all the tax codes and you have updated in the system for payroll. Now, whatever comes after that, you will treat it in next month, right? So you have to remember this. You have taken a download till 10th April. Do not miss it. If you do only by till 9th April, okay, and then you forget about 10th April, you will be non-compliant. Okay, so you have to do not keep any gap. So you have downloaded the report till 10th April. Then next month you'll start from 11th April to 10th May. Okay, you cannot start from 12th April to 10th May. Otherwise, 11th April will be missing. Even if it is a weekend, do not do this. Okay, start from the last date that you have downloaded the last report. In case you want to download 10th again, that is also fine. You download 10th again. Okay, but do not miss any date. You can download duplicate. You'll get duplicate entries. That's all for 10th April. Right? If you check this is already updated, you can ignore that. But you cannot do 12th April by mistake. So do not keep any gap. If you're doing weekly payroll, then maybe Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday you will download. So keep that practice always. Okay, whatever cutoff date you have considered, note it down somewhere, or you should remember. Then you can download the next day report from there. UK, most of the companies are monthly payroll. And in case you have a bigger size, like headcount is 20,000, 10,000, or 1,000 also, if you want to download weekly report, that is also fine. But you ensure that you do not break the gap. You do not put a gap. So for example, you want to save your time for the cutoff. So you are dividing it in 2 months activity, like 15 days. So you can download from 11th April to maybe 20 April, you can download one report. Then from 21st April to 10th May, you can download one report. Okay. Or else weekly also you can follow. 11th to 20th April, you will download one report and update the system. Then from 21st April to 30th April, you will download one report and update the system. Then you will need to download only 10 days again from 31st April to 10th May. So you can do a slot also. That is up to you. But you ensure that you download next day of the report, because if your end date should be next day, previous day. For example, you're downloading today. Okay. So your end date will be 29th October. Okay. Today, if you keep 30th October, you have to ensure that you are ending the day, because UK end of the day will be around 10:30 p.m. IST time. So if you download now, okay, putting 30th October, you may miss few of them. If HMRC is sending it later on, you may miss it. So always ensure that you put the end date of previous day. Okay, like today you're downloading, last day will be 29. because 29 days already completed. So whatever HMRC has sent will be reported. If you want to download till 30th, do it tomorrow. I hope you understood the concept of tax code. We'll go ahead with the calculation based on this one tax code today. Okay, but I'll explain you more tax codes. There are different types of tax codes, and what are the applications? How do we apply those calculations? Okay, first, if you understand this basic one, then you'll understand the others also easily. Okay, so let's start with this. So now, for the calculation, okay, what we need is salary of employee. Okay, now let's consider annual salary first. For example, I am taking 35,000 pounds. Okay, 35,000 pounds is the annual salary. Annual salary is 35,000. Just for calculation purpose, we'll do monthly salary also after we do annual calculation. So I'll do this. I'll keep this ready. Okay. Now salary is this. Okay. What else do you need now to calculate tax? What did I teach you? Tax code. So let's take default tax code 1257L. Okay. Now there are two bases. Okay. One is cumulative and other one is called as week one or month one. Okay. What is week one, month one? It is same. Okay. Month one means monthly calculation. There will be no YTD or there will be no cumulative calculation. Okay. I'll explain you why it happens. Once I explain you the calculation, then I'll explain you. Okay. So this is also given by HMRC. They will give tax code and they will let you know if it is week one, month one or cumulative. Okay. If you are doing monthly payroll, consider monthly. If you're doing weekly payroll, you have to consider weekly. HMRC will call it week one, month one. Okay, it can be mentioned as W1, M1. Okay, here also, if you see on the website, you see this W1, M1, and X means cumulative. So this is something HMRC will give you. Okay, but they will not give you W1 separate, M1 separate. They will give you W1, M1. You need to consider based on the basis of your payroll pattern frequency. If you're doing monthly payroll, do the monthly calculation. If you're doing weekly payroll, do the weekly calculation. So for learning purpose, we'll first start with week one, month one. Cumulative, we'll keep it later. So now tax code is 1257L. Tax basis, this is called as. Okay. So we have all the information that we need. Okay, now we are doing week one, month one calculation. So this is fine. You don't need to worry about the month if you're doing some calculation. First, we'll do annual calculation, then we'll do monthly calculation. Let's see. Okay, so now this is annual salary. Okay, when you're doing annual salary, everything should be annual. Like the tax code should be annual, personal allowance, and your tax slab should be annual as well. Okay, so the tax slab that you see here, let's do it for you England employees first. Okay, we'll do for England employees, England and Northern Ireland. Okay, so this slab is also annual. This slab is also annual. This is also annual. So what we have, annual salary as annual. Okay. Now we have tax code. Now we cannot say tax code. Now we have to say personal allowance because we are doing a tax exemption now. Tax code is always with a letter. Okay. 1257L. But for calculation, you cannot use letter. So you'll convert this to a value, right? Okay, so this is called personal allowance now. Okay, so it is one and the same. And this is the tax exemption. So if some employee uses the term personal allowance or tax exemption, it is one and the same. Okay, so now you deduct personal allowance, you get the taxable salary. Okay, this is taxable salary now. This is total salary or gross salary, you can say. Okay, now what you will do, you will check the slab now. What is the slab? So I have this here, basic rate 20%,
Up
salary
to the
from 0 to 37,700. Okay, this we always consider after deducting personal allowance. Okay, after we deduct personal allowance, then we consider this slab. So you see 22,430 falls under one's first slab only, right?
Mm.
It is less than 37,700. So directly deduct 20%. This will be the tax if I
Annual
call it
tax.
PAYE. Okay, yes, this is annual tax. Okay, now if you want to do monthly calculation, simple. Same thing you have to do, just convert it to monthly. Okay, monthly calculation. So you need to divide salary by 12. Okay, personal allowance also you will divide by 12 because you need monthly. Then if you do this formula, you get the monthly taxable salary. Okay, similarly, because we are doing annual, the same pattern for monthly calculation also. You just need to convert everything to monthly. The
Mm.
salary is monthly, your personal allowance should be monthly. Then you need tax slab also monthly. What will happen? You have to deduct 37,700, divide 37,700 divide by 12. So it is 3141, right? Annually it is 37,700, the first slab.
Yeah.
Okay. Then if you convert it to monthly, let me show it to you this way. Okay. So this is the tax slab. Okay. Okay. Now you are doing a monthly calculation. You have annual tax slab. What you have to do? You have to convert everything to monthly now, right?
Monthly.
Because you have monthly calculation now. Okay. Then 1,25,140 divided by 12. Sorry. Okay. This is the monthly slab. This is annual slab. So when you do monthly calculation, okay, your taxable salary is 1869.17, right? So under which slab it falls is 0 to. So when you do monthly calculation, you convert everything to monthly. Okay, everything should be monthly. Tax slab also. Otherwise, you'll take this one by mistake. Okay, your taxable salary is monthly and you take tax slab of annual. That will be a mistake. So ensure that you do this properly.
Mm.
Now let's do weekly. Weekly salary, the standard formula, do you remember? Annual salary divided by 52. Okay, this is weekly salary of the employee. Same salary, weekly calculation. Okay, now you can divide this by 12. Sorry, 52.
Yes.
52. Annual salary divided by 52. Okay, this is weekly salary. Now, personal allowance, you can take it from here also. Okay, HMRC gives you monthly amount. So I have taken divide by 12. It is almost same, 1048. Okay, I can take 1048 also. And weekly amount also HMRC has given. If it is your default tax code, these are the monthly and weekly amount. Okay,
Mm.
so you can take 242. So your taxable salary for weekly is 431.08, right? So now what you have to do, you have annual figure, you have to convert it to weekly, right? So this annual also you have to convert it to weekly. 725 is the first slab and the employee salary is less than this only. So what you do, again 20% of this. So this is your weekly, monthly and annual.
Ah,
Understood so far? Now let's increase the salary. Okay. So let's do one more calculation here. I'll keep it 75,000. Other things same, 1257L and week 1 month 1. this is the same heading I'll use. Salary is 75,000. Personal allowance is okay. Now taxable salary is 75,000 minus 12570. So the taxable salary is 62,430. This is annual taxable salary, right? So what we'll do, how we can do it? First, take
So,
the entire amount, 37. Then what is remaining? Now you have
uh,
to check where does the salary fall, in which slab it is maximum. The second slab, right? The second slab maximum amount is more than this. So we'll stop at second slab. So this will be complete 20%, right? Entire 37,000 will be 20%. Now whatever remains, okay, that is about 37,700 and less than 125, 140 because it is anyways less. So this will be 40. So this will be the total annual taxation. And if you want to check if you have done correctly, sum it up, it is matching 62,430, right? So you have taken total taxable salary. I mean,
uh,
you
uh,
taken 37,700, then you have
hmm,
taken balance of this. So if
yeah.
you just want to match if it is correct, it is matching. You see the 62,430, 62,430. Okay, so this will ensure that you have done a correct calculation. Okay, this will be your annual. Similarly, you have to do monthly. Okay, just divide everything by 12 and
Yeah.
similarly for weekly, divide everything by 52. Now the second question, if employee joins in between, so there is one more cumulative calculations. Okay, this comes into picture. For example, let's take one more case now. Okay, now the annual salary is 35,000. Let's consider the tax basis as cumulative now. Okay, so what will you need? This is the new employee who is joining in first 1st November 2023. Okay, and the new salary is 35,000. So let me mention everything here so that it is more clear. Okay, this is the annual salary that employee will get it now. Okay, that is from 1st November. Now possibly employee's salary before this was different. Okay, from 1st April, that is 6th April to 31st October. Okay, 1st April to 31st October. This is called YTD figures. Okay, this will be YTD. For example, employee salary. Okay, for this period, 1st April to 31st October. Okay, I'll just do some calculation. Ignore that for now. 100. Let's consider employees YTD figure was YTD salary was 17,500. Okay, and tax paid was 3,150. Okay, just consider this for now. I'm just considering this based on employees old income, that is previous company employee has earned this much and now employee has joined your organization on 1st November 2023 and you'll pay 35,000 as the annual salary. Okay, for cumulative calculation you always need YTD figure, be it
Hmm.
your own company details or be it from your previous company, sorry, be it employee's previous company. Okay, or else let me change the scenario. Okay, employee salary is changing. Okay, from 1st November, this is your employee only. Okay, till 1st April to 31st October, employee has earned 17,500 as the salary. Okay, gross salary, not taxable salary. Okay, gross salary, and tax paid was 3150. So not now what will happen? Okay, now to calculate taxation, you need YTD salary. Okay, now YTD period is 1st to 31st October. Why? Because you are in November. Okay, so you need YTD salary. What is the YTD salary? 17,000.
500.
Okay, and now from November, the salary will be 35,000 divided by 12. Right? Understood? So far, this will be total salary in November. Okay, total salary plus YTD. In UK payroll, we always consider the month in which the taxation we calculate. Okay, so consider current month is November month. Okay, so November month is the present month. Okay, so for whenever you are in present month, for you YTD figure will be till previous month. Okay, start of financial year till previous month will be your YTD figure, year to date figure. Current month is your current month. So what you will do, whenever you do cumulative, take YTD figure as salary. Okay, and take November salary, then sum it up. Now what you will do in cumulative, you have already paid tax. So now you have to calculate tax for November month. If this was your YTD, okay, and taxation for November month, how much tax you need to deduct? This will be your calculation. So for that, what you do? You do cumulative calculation. So you add this income. Okay, you sum this up. Now what you do? So do you deduct 12,570 entire amount? 12,570. This is your total salary that you need to consider for taxation now. Okay, 2417. November month is April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It is always 8th month. You are in the 8th period now. Okay, so you have
So
to
we have to
convert this
divide.
also to 8. So what you do, divide by 12. Okay, as I said, monthly, convert everything to monthly. Weekly, convert everything to weekly. If it is cumulative, convert it to the present period. Okay, so now
Yes.
you deduct the free personal allowance. Okay, this is your 8th period taxable salary. Okay, taxable salary for 8th period, not for present month only. Okay, so now what you do? You need to convert the slab also. You need to convert the slab to 8 months now because you have annual figure. So what you will do? First slab is 37,700, right? Annual. So convert this also to 8 months and then check it. Okay, you are correct. So it is under 20% only. So convert everything to 8 months now. Okay, when you do cumulative, your personal allowance also and the slab also you need to convert to 8 months. So this is annual figure. Okay, so convert it to 8 months, divide by 12 into 8. I hope you understood. Okay, so now the taxation is 20%. Okay, okay, what is the taxation? 2407.
Yeah.
You see this now? Employee gets a employee's total taxable taxes 2407, but employee has already paid
Wait,
3150. So what will happen? This way, UK payroll, in UK payroll, we pay refund of taxation. So what will happen? Employees net pay will increase. It will be in the, he will get the money refund directly. Okay, this is in UK payroll. This happens straightforward. You don't need to get it deposited and employee will get it later on. It doesn't work that way. Okay, now this is one scenario you understood about refund. If it was 2000 only, the taxation was paid 2000 only, then there will be the difference of taxation paid as November tax. Okay, so total is 2407 and employee has paid 2000 till 31st October. So the difference will be 407.40. This will be the November taxation. Okay, similarly, now let's see example wherein employee was paying less taxation earlier. Okay, and now employee wants to pay higher taxation. So what will happen? This way HMRC controls the tax code. For example, employee has paid taxation based on 1257L earlier. Okay, uh, mm, for example, just assume for now, okay, 2300 was paid as taxation earlier. Now HMRC reduces the tax code or increases the personal allowance so that employee pays less taxation. So according to them, it will be nearby figure. So we'll deduct only 1047.40. So let me show you one example. So for example, the new tax code is 1200L. Okay. The new tax code is 1200L and earlier tax code was 1257L. Now what will happen? We saw one refund case. Now here what will happen? HMRC thinks that employee has paid less taxation till October. So from 1st November, let's change the tax code to 1200L. So what will happen? So for example, let's take 2000 only, not less. Okay. So now what will happen? We'll take the tax exemption as, sorry, not this one. Tax
Yeah.
exemption as 12,000, right? So what happens? The personal allowance reduces. So this will increase the taxation amount of employee. Okay. So what happens? Whatever is the shortfall, HMRC is covered. So if you see this is 7-month figure, right? So if you divide this by 7, employee was paying 286 per month taxation earlier. You see this? Now this month it is suddenly double, almost double, 483. Why? Because HMRC, due to HMRC calculation, employee might have received some benefit. Now they want to deduct more taxation. The shortfall they want to cover. Okay, so this month they will deduct higher taxation. Okay, now let's take 9 months then. Okay, let's see. This is the, okay, for next month, that is for December month now. So this is now December month. Okay, so this is 9th month. Okay, April to December, 9th month. So what will be your YTD figure now? First to
Till
1st April
to
to 30th
now.
November, right? So it should be this plus this. Okay, that is 2417. It will be now your YTD figure. This month's salary will be 35,000 divided by 12. Okay, okay, month annual salary is 35,000. So we have divided. Now what will happen? Oh, sorry. So this is your 9-month total salary. Okay, total salary plus YTD 23,333. Okay, now let's see what happens. What is your tax code? Now employee's tax code is 1200L. Okay, so 12,000, yeah, into 9. Okay, so this will be the taxable salary. This is the 20% tax. We know the slab already. So now the taxation is 28. Now what we have already paid, employee has paid 2,483, right? 483 also paid. The difference you see?
Approximately 400.
So you see, this is earlier it was 483, now it is 383. It is
Oh,
reduced again. So this may get reduced further next month also. Okay, so
yeah.
this gets adjusted this way. So it can come to a stable line also, like it will be somewhere near, like it will be 300, then it will be 300 only every month. So it depends, because it is cumulative. You cannot get the exact amount every month. Okay, it may change. Now let's check one more time the last January month, how it impacts. Okay, so now the YTD will be till 31st December, because the current month will be January, right? This is the 10th month. Okay, 10th period. So the YTD will be 23. Now the annual salary is 35,000 divided by 12. So the total is 26,240. Okay, and 12,000 divided by 12 into 10 now. The taxable salary is 16,250. Okay. What taxation we have already paid is this plus 383. Okay. And now how much it comes? It is 3250. So if you see, it will be somewhere near only to previous month. So it is 383.33. Okay, so the new taxation amount for employee will be 383. Earlier it was 286 around per month. 483 was a higher amount because HMRC wants to collect higher tax now. Earlier, if you see, 2000 was the total taxation. So per month amount, if you see, it was 286 taxation. Now it is increased. Why? Because HMRC has reduced the tax code. You see this? This is impacting the taxation. Similarly, if the earlier tax code was 1200, vice versa. Okay, if employee was paying higher taxation and HMRC changes it to 1257, then it will be vice versa. Employee paid higher taxation, now the taxation will reduce. It will be different. Okay, it will be a vice versa case. So HMRC always changes taxation based on the requirement they can do. If they think there is a shortfall of taxation, they will reduce the personal allowance. If they think there is a overpaid tax, they will refund the amount by changing the tax code. Okay, so this kind of scenarios you'll always see, but you don't need to worry about. If you anytime receive employee query, you should be aware of the calculation, how you explain to employee, is there a refund or not. That's the reason it is important to know the calculation manually. Okay, HMRC will have all the information, like if there is something triggered on employees extra income, because employee HMRC will have the NIC number, and all the income is reported under NIC. Everything will be recorded. Like we have PAN number. When we file our return, we see that government has our interest on FD savings also. They get all the information, right? So similarly, HMRC will have information wherein based on which they can change the tax code and they can explain it to employee. If it is wrong, then HMRC will get correct. Sorry, employee will get it corrected from HMRC, and HMRC will notify us again. So if there is an incorrect taxation, HMRC will immediately change the tax code, and next month we can refund the taxation. You've seen how it could be refunded, right? So based on tax code changes, it will always happen, refund or shortfall deductions or extra deductions. This is just one tax code I have explained you. There are multiple tax codes, not complex ones, but there are multiple scenarios that we'll see tomorrow. Okay, so this is, and it is not like HMRC can change only twice. They can change thrice, they can change 4 times, they can change 5 times, multiple times they want. Normally it doesn't go that much time, but after, for example, till January, now HMRC thinks we have collected excess taxation that we wanted to. Okay, now change it back to 1257L. They can change it back to 1257L. So from February, maybe the tax will reduce again for the employee because the amount will increase. That is, the personal allowance will increase for the employee. Let's see that scenario one. Last scenario. If the tax code again changes to 1257L, then what will be the impact? Okay, so you'll get multiple scenario here only. Okay, so 11 months, and then the YTD will be 26,250. So 35,000 divided by 12. So now it is 1257L. Consider 12570 again now. Okay. Divide by 12 into 11. Okay. So now the tax exemption is applied and we get the taxable salary as 17,644. Now what is the taxation paid already? This plus, okay, 20%. What will be the taxation? You see it's taxation reduced. Okay. So now it is almost back to the same taxation. So this way, HMRC, when they think they need to collect extra taxation, they will change the tax code. And if they think they have collected extra tax now, they will change back the tax code to the normal. Okay. It is up to HMRC. They will do this. Okay. Understood why we do cumulative. Almost 80%, 90% employees will have cumulative calculation. Okay. Only few scenario. What happens? Now, for example, week 1, month 1, I'll explain the logic now only, why to wait. So now, for example, HMRC thinks we have deducted extra or refunded everything now, okay, properly. Now, this month, we need to deduct flat rate of taxation. Okay, we need to deduct something flat. We don't need to consider YTD figure. So what will they do? They will change the tax basis to week 1, month 1. So what will happen? There will be a flat deduction on 35,000 divided by 12. Okay, month salary. You don't need YTD because you are on back to month 1 calculation. You don't need YTD. Now, what is your tax code? 12570 divided by 12, right? So let's see what happens here. If you deduct 20% flat, you see this higher amount is deducted. So this will not have any this month. If HMRC doesn't have time, they want to quickly deduct higher amount of tax, maybe £100. This is just an example. For one employee, it is 100. Maybe some employee it could be 500, £1,000 also extra. So they will change immediately the tax basis. Okay, and tax code maybe they will give 1257L. Okay, or else if they want to deduct more taxation, if they do 1150L, for example, this is the tax code. Now what happens? See this, it will increase the taxation further. Okay, 1500 divided by 12. Increase the taxation further. If they want to deduct more, they may change it to 1000L in week 1, month 1. So in 1 month only they will recover the extra taxation. Okay, they can do this. They have full right to do this, and they can explain the employee why they are deducting. Okay, this always happens whenever you see some different kind of changes that you think due to which HMRC is trying to recover uh, uh, more taxation. It could be HMRC decision, so we don't need to worry about. HMRC always take decision due to some reason, and we don't need to worry about it. So it is HMRC who will decide everything. Okay, and HMRC has to give explanation to employees as well, so you don't need to worry about it. So whenever employee says, if employee is very angry also, that time you have to clearly say that this is something HMRC has given us and we cannot, we are not able to explain you the reason. You can contact HMRC for the reason, and if there is any change, ask HMRC to send it to us directly. We cannot consider employees changes. What happens at times? It could be possible that HMRC has changed the taxation. So they change the tax code, they notify us to the portal, and the same information they give to employee also, that your tax code will be changing. So they also receive a letter. So they will come to you and present the letter that can you change my tax code now? I've received this letter. So you have to see, let me check the system. and if you find the changes, you tell them, okay, we are changing it based on the only if HMRC notification is received. Okay, if employee has received letter and we have not received it, mention it that we'll need to wait because we have not yet received yet the notification. Then only we'll change it. And if it is next one after cutoff we receive, we can explain our cutoff is 10. You know, we have received it after 12th April, so it will be considered next month, and you'll get the adjustment next month. Okay, you have to mention this clearly. Understood? So now I'll explain you something else if you understood the calculation already. Okay, so now whenever there is a new hire, I explained you one document will be P45, right? One document will be P45 for experienced employee who already worked. Okay. And one will be starter checklist for freshers normally who doesn't have experience, who is doing work for the first time. They will have to use the starter checklist to send their declaration. Okay, it is a kind of declaration that I am a fresher. Okay, so company will apply tax code based on the starter checklist and P45. Okay, for experienced employee, P45 is mandatory. Okay, so based on, so now in P45, what you will receive? You will receive tax code, which was applied from previous employer, last tax code. Okay, in P45, last tax code which was used by the previous company, it will be mentioned. Okay, final document which is sent, we call it final settlement, right? So in UK, it is sent right away. The P45 after the employee left, it will have YTD figures. Okay, YTD gross salary and YTD tax. So it will always capture what is the YTD figure in that organization. Okay, so April, for example, September was the last month. So April to September, whatever gross salary employee received, that will be mentioned and tax will be mentioned. Okay, now you understood why P45 is mandatory, because from October, new employee will join in a new organization, right? So in new organization, when they calculate cumulative tax, for cumulative tax, they need YTD, and YTD is with other company, right? Because employee joined in October, we'll have the first income in October. But April to September, what employees YTD is there, we don't know exact. Otherwise, we'll just calculate the taxation based on October salary. We will consider October as first month, and employee will get tax benefit. You understand? That's the reason P45 is mandatory for employees. If they miss it, so what will happen? First month, for example, October, this employee joined, and employee says that I have lost my P45. I do not have it. Okay, so in that case, you have right to take decision. You can apply 0T tax code. This is 0T. Normally T is used, like the normal tax code we saw L. Okay, T is used when there is some special circumstances. In some situation, it is used 900T. It will also have a number. Okay, this is used when employees have very special circumstance like two jobs, or maybe employee has a very high income from other source like shares or somewhere. So HMRC changed their tax code. So we'll see this when we check all the tax codes, different tax codes. So I'm just explaining you, this is kind of tax code that you will see. T is the modified one, customized one with by HMRC due to special circumstance. Okay, that is the reason T is used here. Then what happens? Let me explain. October is the first month. Okay, employee says I have lost my P45. So what we'll say? It is your mistake. We cannot give you tax exemption. Okay, because we do not know what was your tax code. We cannot do anything based on payslip. Okay, so what we'll do? We'll apply 0T tax code straightforward. We are allowed to do that. This decision we can take on our own. This is HMRC. HMRC's rule. We can do it. Why it is done? Now L is replaced by 0. As I explained you, T is also replaced by 0. Okay. So it will be 0. You see, exemption is 0. Okay, so
So
entire
tax will
salary will be
be
taxable. Why we do that? Because if we give some tax code default, an employee is not eligible for that tax code, so charge less tax to the employee by mistake. We take 12570 as default. If employee says, but employee should receive only 1100L. Okay, 11,000 tax exemption, but we are giving 12570. So we are deducting less tax for the employee. And later on, when we come to know that it should be 11,000, by that time we'll need to deduct more tax in one salary right away. It will be increased in one salary. Then employee will again make noise that you're increasing high, you're deducting high tax from my salary. So that's the reason in first month only we'll deduct high taxation. We'll not give any exemption. Later on, we can when we receive an update. Okay, first payroll you will do it 0T. Okay, then you submit
so
FPS to HMRC.
so in this
Okay,
case, this employee will get a reduced tax in coming months.
maybe yes. So
Maybe, yeah.
we'll see that. Yeah. So actually yes, but we'll see that how. Okay, how it happens we'll see. October we'll use 0T tax code and we'll process the salary and we'll inform HMRC through FPS. Now HMRC will see that why this employee has 0T, because in employee's record maybe HMRC has 1100L. HMRC will say, okay, might be employee has lost P45. So what HMRC will do in November, HMRC may notify us that use 1100L tax code for this employee. Then we are fine to use, but based on employee's recommendation, we cannot use it. We need only P45. Okay, understood? Now when
Yes.
HMRC says use 1100, then we can use it. The point that you said, it applies here. Employee will get less. So because here there were high tax deduction, here it will be less. Understood now? New higher point. Okay, so this point will come in future. That's the reason I thought I'll explain you. Okay, now there are different types of tax codes. How do you see that? Okay, so you do same thing that we did yesterday. I'll show you so I'll just type HMRC tax code explanation. So it will take me to the direct link where HMRC explains the tax code, what each tax code means. So if you come down, you see there are tax codes.
Okay.
So L is the one that is general, as I explained you. M, there is M, there is N, there is T that I told you, 0T. You see this here? Here it is mentioned your personal allowance has been used up. Okay, this could be one scenario which means employee has to pay high tax. So HMRC also can give you 0T, that do not give any tax exemption now. That is fine. One scenario. Or you have started a new job and your employer does not have the details, they need to give you a tax code. Okay. Or you have started a new job and your employer does not have the details, they need to give you a tax code, which means we do not have the P45. Employer doesn't have the P45. That's the reason 0T is used. So this will be very rare scenario where employee will get 0T tax code. Okay, employee normally gets, so this T, you see T, your tax code includes other calculation to work out your personal allowance. Other calculation means HMRC has some different information, additional information, due to which they are reducing the tax exemption. Okay, ideally, when the tax code is T, if you see, the amount will be very less. It will be maybe 750 T. Okay, it may be 600 T, which means HMRC has some extra information due to which they are reducing tax code to a significant level. You will mostly you will not find L on such a lower side, like 700L you will never find mostly. Okay, very rare cases. It will be T. These are two things. Let's see all the tax code. Okay, T I already explained you. Okay, 0T I explained you. L you already know. Okay, this is general. Now what is M and N? Okay, marriage allowance. You have received a transfer of 10% of your partner's personal allowance. Okay, it could be anyone, male or female. For example, it's a husband and a wife. Okay, husband has 1257. Okay, sorry. Her wife has 1257L tax code. Okay, and husband has only 1100 tax code. Maybe I'm not discriminating between husband wife. It could be vice versa also. Wife can also earn more, but maybe due to a reason husband is earning more and tax code is tax exemption is less. Okay, this could be one of the reason. Now wife has full exemption, but wife's salary is less. For example, she's a part-timer. Okay, so part-timer salary, for example, full-timer salary, her salary was 24,000. Okay, but now she works part-timer because she has a child. For example, she works only 4 hours or only 3 days, maybe, whatever is her decision. So now she earns only 12,000 half hours. Okay, now what happens? Her salary is 12,000 and her personal allowance is 12570. Does she need 570? No, she doesn't need 570, right? It is
Okay.
extra. So she just need 12,000, which will lead her to zero taxation, right? So 570 she can transfer to her husband. Okay, husband can take 1570, 1100 and 157. Okay, so it will not be 1157L. It will be now 1157M because she has transferred. And her tax code will be 1200N because
Oh,
she has transferred. The one who transfers, it will be N, and the one who is gets the tax code, M.
yeah.
Okay, this is just for understanding purpose, so that you know. Okay, this is a different tax code because there is a marriage allowance. Okay, but
Okay.
the calculation method is same for all. You need to convert this to 11570, and you need to
Okay.
convert this to 12,000. Calculation will not change. Okay, you have received a transfer of 10%. Now you need to go here and check more. Okay, how much is maximum? So here you will see the explanation also. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, example, your income is 11,500 and your personal allowance is, this is just an example like I explained for the wife. Her salary was 12,000, but here they are taking 11,500. Okay, your partner's income is 20,000 and their personal allowance is 12570. Just so they pay tax on 7430, which is 20,000 minus 12570. Okay, this means a couple, you are paying income 7430. Why? Because here there is no taxation because the salary is already less. 11,500 is the salary. Let me explain in Excel. Okay. So wife's income is 11,500 and her taxation is also 1257L and husband's is also, but husband's salary is 23,000 annual. Okay. Sorry, 20,000. Okay. So what is the tax code? So in total, what happens here? There will be no taxation. Okay. Because the salary is less than. Right. So total taxation income is 7430 for both of them for a couple. Okay. Did you understand? Both? Okay. This is the explanation. When you claim marriage allowance, you can transfer 1260 of your personal allowance to your partner. Your personal allowance becomes 11310. This is for the one who wants to transfer. Okay. And your
Okay.
partner gets tax credit of 1260. Okay. Now what is 1260? We'll see that. This means you'll now pay tax on pound 190. That is this person. Okay, so what this person will do? 10%. Okay, maximum 10% they can do. Okay, 1257. Now you understood why it is 1260. They have rounded it up. Okay, 1260 will be transferred to here, and here 1260 will be minus. Okay, so this will add and this will be minus. So 1383 M and 1131 N. Okay, this will be the tax code now. This is you are married or in a civil partnership, and you do not pay income tax. Your income is below your personal allowance. Usually, your partner pays income tax basically, which means their personal allowance is between so and so. This is the you cannot claim marriage allowance if you are living together, but you are not married or in a civil partnership. Apart from this, you cannot do. If it should be civil partnership and marriage only. If you are
So
just
is
living like a boyfriend girlfriend just for time pass, I made just an example. It cannot be applied. Understood? These
yes.
text codes you understood, right? Till here. The second scenario, 0 to you can apply is one more scenario. Okay, let me tell you. After leaving payment. Do you know what is after leaving payment? Okay, if employee left the organization in October. Okay, in November we find some payment, maybe bonus or anything that we missed. Now we process the in October 1257L was used normally. If we provide, this was the last month of employee, so this is fine. If pay anything after leaving, then you have to you apply 0T tax code. If you pay anything after the leaving month, you have to mention, you have to apply 0T tax code. Why? I'll explain you. Because this employee may work with another organization. You understand? November, employee might have joined some organization. Their employee might be getting 1257L because of 345. If you also give 1257L on the
Yes.
income, what employee will receive double. So that's the reason. Even if employee work or doesn't work, we are not bothered about that. This is the rule that you have to apply 0T after leaving payments.